The man in the animal.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Oh, that's okay. That's separate.
Okay.
Is anyone here for Shabbat in Allenhurst?
Shavuot.
Abraham Batesh, what's some?
You mean this
This
coming
Shabbat, Allenhurst. Anybody coming?
No.
No. 2 weeks
Not
from
yet?
now. Yeah, the one
Oh.
after.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can sit in your own seat.
So I'd like to talk about I like to review material at this time of the year because we're down to the last few classes of the season. After this, we'll start going to Jersey a lot. And
Places in Jersey, by the way. Don't you remember, we did have places in New Jersey.
we did. We had
Yeah,
classes.
have a class. But not Monday night. You gotta do it Tuesday.
No, we did Tuesday nights. We did Tuesday last year.
Huh?
We did Tuesdays.
Yeah, probably.
We had class, really?
Yeah.
What am I losing my mind?
Could be.
Wow.
Not every week, but yeah.
Whatever, whatever, don't tell me.
Okay.
Making it easy.
Don't tell me, but don't have places.
11 weeks in a row.
Why not? We'll do that.
So I want to talk about
Mhm.
how the attitude has been through the millennia. Recording? Yeah. Okay. Through the millennia for Aaron and his sons. You always see the discussion about what they did. It's everybody's always walking on pins and needles, eggshells, whatever you call it. They this, they that, they didn't know, they made a mistake, they thought this.
Hazaton.
Right. There is an opinion in the Gemara that says they were drunk. Because all of a sudden you have the law of Yain v'Shechar al Tesht. So it's not like it went unnoticed. It didn't go unnoticed, right?
Wouldn't that be an important part to include it in the narrative then?
It is, the next thing.
No, it's not in the narrative, it's an instruction style on.
Immediately after.
I know,
No,
if they were
dang.
drunk,
Yeah,
it would be in the
dang.
narrative.
Right. So it's going.
Important enough for the
Well,
narrative?
so that's why I'm bringing it up. 1 minute. Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, it never once says anything other than that they brought Ish Zara, which is pretty bad,
Asher lo siva.
and Asher lo siva, and it says that the words that are used for consuming the fire consume them, right? But they say Ish, right? Right? It says the Asher lo siva, that they say Ish milifnei Adonai v'tochal otem. Ve'yamutu l'fnei Adonai. And prior to that, it says, right? It says, Ve'bu Moshe Aaron, where is it?
Oh, before.
V'tetzei esh l'fnei Adonai, verse 24. V'tochal al mizbeach, et ha'olai v'ta'alavim, v'kol ha'am ve'eronu ve'yiplu al panim. Yeah, we always love the fact that story, when Aaron raises his hands, it doesn't work, if you all remember.
Of course.
He does it, but nothing happens. It's very anticlimactic. And then Moshe joins with him, right? And then they have a conversation, right? It says, so they go together. And they go out. And then so what did they talk about inside?
No,
That's what I talked about, I think. What do you think?
Why shouldn't you assume they had a conversation? They're going together. And it just says what happened. So did Moshe go to him and said, let's go inside? Try and fill in the blanks. Listen, it says like this. It says, he raises,
It's
in
saying
verse
for like a guy in the crowd, what he saw
yeah.
happen.
He raises his hands to the people, and he blesses them. And then and nothing happened. and nothing happened.
Mhm.
At that juncture, they go in together. So if nothing happened, you've got to assume something like this. Moshe goes over to Aaron and tells him, listen, let's go inside. Let's have a talk.
It's inspired.
They go inside. Whatever transpired inside, right? We don't know. We don't know. You say, who says they talked? They didn't talk? Or why did they even go inside? Who said let's go
When
inside?
it's inside, it's the Kodesh we're talking about now?
Yeah.
The
Who,
Kodesh.
yeah, let's say it's only the Kodesh, but there was no schedule for that to happen. Right? So and it says Moshe is the one. It's Vayabu Moshe V'Aaron El Moed. So who initiated this thing?
I don't.
No, that's a guess.
It doesn't look like it.
I don't write that down.
No, that's what he was supposed to do.
Was he?
That was the schedule.
Says he was supposed to do that?
Because he Vaybarech him and he does Vayirid Me'asot Hatat and Na'olad. That's the clincher of the day.
So he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, then Moshe Aaron Elon Moed, verse 22, and they go out, they barech with them, and they bless the people. What are they blessing the people for? He's the Kohen. He did it already. He did Birkat Kohanim. When you go like this and say, raise his hand, that you think of Birkat Kohanim. It right away,
Yeah, of course.
right?
We don't.
That's what you think of. So now they came out and they blessed the people. And then Vayiqra kibod Adonai el kol ha'am.
Mhm.
Then God's glory appears. Then which you expect it to happen immediately after Pasuk, when it said in Pasuk 22, right? Over here it says, well, why didn't that happen before? It didn't. But when they go together and they come out and they make the blessing, then
That's what I'm asking.
so it's clear
Something.
that Aharon's actions were not sufficient.
Correct.
It didn't work.
And we know that his actions were in line with what was supposed to be done.
Yeah, it says everything before this, everything was exactly right. He does all the right things. He does all the right things. Now, I have an answer to this question. Nobody else has an answer. I have an answer.
My answer is you couldn't have Aaron alone after the Egel.
But he was alone.
No, but as far as
Accepted.
God accepting everything, you needed Moshe. I don't know.
Not that
But
the Egel.
It's an Egel related
He
thing.
did.
No, the Egel is kapara. Sorry, he does it. He does it.
He's been doing this for 7 days.
No,
He's been doing this for
no, I
7 days.
understand, but for God to accept it,
He should have stepped down from offering.
Moshe saved his life.
He steps down from offering his offer, the burnt offering, the peace offer, everything. And then he should come and lift his hands and bless the people, not lift his hands and bless the
You think he
people.
forgot?
Why not?
And then came down from the giving the offering. Seems not in order.
The short of Al Ishtaim as well. I'm reading before.
Yeah.
Ki ayu online or Alachan. They call it the Shes Vav Moshe. This is the thing that Hashem commanded. I'm reading Pasuk 6.
The word.
Tasu. This is what you do and God's glory will appear. He told them exactly what to do. Make kapara for yourself and for the people. Make kapara for them. וכי והרואי על מזבח, וישחט עגל והחטאת שלו, ויגרו בני ארון את הדם, אליו יטבול לספור בדם, etc., etc., ויטהר ויתקריות, ויתר לכבד, etc., etc., ויתר השק, ימסיעו בני ארון אליו את הדם, they throw it on the מזבח, ויקרא על המזבח, וחץ לקרב, ויקרב את קורבן, etc., ויקטע עולה, ויקטע מתחת, ונלך כפור, Yamsu b'nei Aaron et Adam, and they throw it on Mizbeach, and the Halavim Yashor min Ayel, and Chazal Kol v'Yotir HaKabed, Yisur et Halavim Hazot v'Yakir Halavim Mizbeach. ואת החזות, את שוק ימין, הניף אהרון תנופה לפני ה' כשעשי והמשה.
Okay. but
Exactly as per the
shouldn't those
instructions.
three
Then
words,
go,
right,
go to 22.
the words Kasher Tziva Moshe, shouldn't that? the end-
All you're emphasizing by saying what you're saying is
Says it a few times.
that
No, but.
That-
When you said Vayiqra Hadon Yador, right? And then it says, and he came down from the offering the.
nothing happened.
It just sounds like that's extra.
What's extra?
22, either have Kasher Tziva Moshe
No,
at the end of
it
22.
says you come down.
He
comes
did it
down,
at-
do it all the offering, and then he's gonna raise his hands and do the thing.
He did.
No, it says.
It says, "Hanif Aaron Tefillah Lefnei Adonai."
Comes down off the thing, that's
What?
not in sequence.
No, it says he goes down from having done it. He finished.
He
What-
goes down from having done it, and then he comes and lifts his.
No, you're not listening. He in verse 20, it says, "Vayasiu ta'avim hazot v'yaktira halavim hamizbecha." He did it.
Continue,
V'et hazot v'chok yamin henif Aaron tirufal lefnei keshes rabush. He finished.
finished. So
He's
what's this
done.
Extra item here.
I told you nothing happened. He gets up, he says, "Oh, I'll bless the people." And then it'll work. He himself now, as the Kohen, does the standard thing. He makes Birkat Kohanim,
So what does it say?
and then he comes down. He now finished.
It's pretty clear.
Vayered means like this, and then he was done from doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like.
He was done. Vayered means he comes down from having finished that whole procedure and nothing happened.
Yes.
The words fake like this.
Okay.
He did the whole procedure. Nothing happened. He makes Birkat Kohanim.
He does the fact one, and.
Nothing happened.
Right.
So he comes down from having done the procedure.
Oh, okay.
He comes down from, he's there. He goes up. He does the whole procedure like Moshe said. Nothing happened.
But is that a failure? I mean, like,
Looks like
maybe
it.
nothing's supposed to happen.
Clearly.
No.
No, something is supposed to happen. It's supposed to be consumed.
It's done.
Nothing happens.
But he's not supposed to think that he's blessing the people.
One second. He always does Birkat Kohanim.
That's not him blessing the people, that's Hashem blessing the people.
Whatever it is.
To do with anything. He does
Together.
Birkat Kohanim.
But then they do it together.
Misunderstanding what.
Misunderstanding what he's doing. He's been doing this all his life. There's nothing to misunderstand.
Everything going on.
This is standard procedure. Nothing happened. All we're saying here is that nothing happened.
This is not the first time they're doing.
So then
It
he's,
was the expectation.
the expectation is this. Go back to Tit
6, no?
and read verse 6. Vayomen Moshe, Zeh hadavar asher tziva Hashem ta'asu. You do this,
So that-
Vayira alechem kibod Adonai. Do this and God's glory will appear. He did it and God's glory didn't appear. Forget about Birkat Kohanim.
Okay,
It doesn't even say Birkat Kohanim. It says he raises his hand and he blesses the people.
that's not part of the instructions, that's all.
So what?
So he's doing something he's not being instructed to
Maybe-
do.
Oh my God, you're jumping the gun. Again, you're jumping the gun. Listen to you're jumping the gun.
Got it.
Did he do what Moshe Kasher Tzivah?
Every time.
Yeah.
Yes,
And didn't Moshe say Zeh Adonai She'asu?
yes,
Vayira Alechem Kibod Adonai?
yes.
It didn't happen.
He must have done.
Hashem
So he's standing there. So you know what he does?
Hey, Moshe.
No,
He blesses people.
Oh.
no, what he always does.
He called his brother.
No,
He God blesses the people.
he blessed the people. He blessed the people. What he always does. What are you gonna do? He's standing.
Got it.
What would you do if you were standing up there? You did everything and nothing happened.
I'd try something else.
Exactly. Exactly. And after he finishes that, you know what happens?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
So he goes down.
So he goes that. What are you going to say? Stand up there?
Huh?
He says, "Vayed," and he finished. He Vayera simply means he came down from the whole procedure and he was done, and nothing happened. That's that nothing happened statement, right? Right after it, it says like this. It says, let me read it.
Yeah, well,
I'm trying to find the verse. I'm
23.
20.
You can either say 22 or 23. Go for it.
No, it's good. Which we're looking for.
He finished all the stuff.
I lost the place now. 1 second.
23.
Moshe. Vayiqra et ha'ayil, etc., etc. Vayitin Moshe. Here,
23, yeah.
23. Vayishat.
No,
No,
no, you're on the wrong page.
that's what's wrong. Oh my God, I'm looking. Then Vayabor Moshe v'Aaron el moed. So I am trying to tell you. Let's fill in the blanks. I'm filling in the blanks, going like this. Moshe, I did everything. Nothing happened.
Come on, let's go get
What are we gonna do now?
Go get Nevuah.
So they were talking. There was a conversation that took place in there.
I mean, they went in and they
Clearly-
came back out.
All it says, they went and they came out. Now, when they went in, they didn't do, it doesn't say they did anything in there. They went in.
It's talking like a guy is watching, and this is what he sees.
That's what they see.
They come back out. All of a sudden, they both do the beracha, and then the thing works.
Right?
No,
The first words, that's what he did.
so you can't leave that out.
Yes.
What do you mean they went in and they came out?
They went in, they came out.
For what?
So Moshe,
Nevuah.
so I'm going,
Right.
no, listen to me.
Doesn't say.
Let me get to
It
tonight's
doesn't say anything.
objective.
But that it doesn't say.
Oh my God. Getting me tired. I don't feel good tonight. They go inside. He blessed. Forget about the thing now. What deciding?
I got it.
Because they're gonna bless now also. Right? The standard is so he tells them, listen, he tells them something and he says, I'm gonna join you now. I'm gonna join you now.
Follow me.
Watch what I do, follow me. That's what I am saying he told him. Because otherwise, all he did is do the same exact thing he did before, but Moshe joined him.
Mhm.
That is not what happened. In other words, he went like this. Make believe you, how do one goes like this? Bless you all. Nothing happens. They go inside, they come out. Moshe and I don't stand there. They both go like this. Bless you all. And then,
Fire.
Vayiqra kibor Adonai el kol ha'am. Right after, immediately after they say whatever they said, it doesn't say what they said.
No.
And it doesn't say what Aharon said. But with Aharon, it said he raises his hands. You know that's Birkat Kohanim,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? So since that's the case, something happened in the room.
Good.
I'm going to tell you what happened in the room. I am sure I know what happened in the room. I don't think I'm right. I'm 100% sure I know what happened in the room.
Okay.
Okay. Before we do that, I'd like to I want to point out something to you so you're aware of what happened in the text about Vayiqra Kavod Hashem. The words are as this. Vayibarachu et ha'am, Vayiqra Kavod Adonai kol ha'am, and God's glory appeared. Vatetzei esh milafei Adonai, v'tochal mizbech ta'olav v'talamim, vayad kol ha'am, vayaronu, and they sang out, they blew out their hand, and they fell on their face. Stop. That means they were overwhelmed. When you fall on your face, I think it means it's a thing of being like, you're
Awestruck.
awestruck. Yeah, something like that.
Would also use that.
Hold on.
They fell on their face.
No.
It's part of the.
No, it happens when Abraham hears that he's going to have a child, right? So now I just want to say, as far as this idea, if you'll go back to chapter 9, right? When he tells him what he's going to do, right? and he's taking the egil, which everybody all catches that the egil is part of the kaparah for the egil, and there's kaparah for himself and for the nation, right? Right? And then, Vayon Moshe, this is the thing that Hashem commanded that you do, and God's glory will appear. I want you to remember, Vayon Moshe, Zehadavar, Asher Tziva Adonai, Ta'asu, Ve'ira, Alechem, Kibod. I'm telling you, he's giving instruction. This is this is what you do.
Right.
This is how you do it. Right. This is what you do, and God's glory will appear. Everything after this is about how to do it. Correct? Now, listen how I emphasize words as I read to you. ויאמר משה אל אהרון, קרא לו מזבח ועשה את חטאתך ואת תועלתך וכפר בעדך בעד העם, ועשה את כהן העם וכפר בעדם כאשר ציווה אדוני, as per Hashem's commandment. ויקרא אהרון אל המזבח, וישחט את עגל החטאת, first one, the עגל, right? אשר לו, ויקראו בני אהרון את הדם אליו, ויטבול אצבעו בדם, ויצא קרון מזבח, ואת הדם יצק אל יסוד המזבח. You all know what those words mean, the thing and the foundation around the מזבח. ואת החלב, ואת הכליות, ואת יותרת מן הכבד, happens to be part of what is there, is the yoteret ala kabed.
Right.
If you look at the words over here for yoteret ala kabed, it's in verse 10. Read it.
The fat and the kidneys.
The
Protuberance of the liver.
Now, the protuberance of the liver is yoteret mina kabed. The liver has a protuberance, so it's called the yoteret.
Right.
The excess, the excess
Gallbladder.
of the kabed. There happens to be a word,
Heavy. Right.
that word that means heavy liver, and the word in Hebrew for liver is the same word as the word is kabod. It's kabed and kabod. Right? Kabod Adonai. Now it's kabed. Mina hatat iktira mizbeach kashes v'am like Moshe, as per the commandment. Eta basad eta or saraf ba'esh mehutz machaneh v'yishchat ha'olah imsiu b'nei Haron elav etam v'yakiru al mizbeach sabid v'eta olah imsiu, they squeezed it elav and tahea in its pieces v'eta rosh v'yakter al mizbeach v'yasot kerev v'eta karaim v'yakal al mizbeach v'yakreb et korban ha'am v'yikach et zira hatat. Now he takes zira hatat. אשר לעם וישחיתו ויחת טהור כראשון, ויקרב את העולה ויעשה כמשפט. ויקרב את המסע וימלא כפו ממנה, ויקטע על המזבח מלבד לעלות הבוקר. וישחט ששו ויתעל זבח של עמים, אשר למסע ומצאו בני אהרון את דם, etc. ואת החלבים מן השור ומן העל העלה, ומוצא את כליות, ויותר את הכבד. Again, יותר את הכבד. וישימו את החלבים לחזות, וכן החלבים מצביעה, ואת החזות, and then he does it. I wanted you to see that 2 times he uses the word yoteret mina kabed. Now, in Hebrew, the way you say the protuberance of the liver translates the excess of kabed, or the excess of honor. The excess of honor. Hold that word in your mind. We'll come back to it later. Now they do it, and the people fall on their face, and everything is good. So I say that the conversation that took place was as follows. Aharon did his standard procedure, did Moshe's procedure. Now he has his standard procedure, which is bless the people, and then everything comes together. So he did his standard procedure. His standard procedure didn't work. Moshe told him, the problem is the beracha that you made. That's not the way you say the blessing. That's changing now. Turn to Bimidbar. And turn to chapter 6 and read and look at chapter 6, verse 22. at the end of all of Vayiqra, after you go through these subjects that relate to the people, which relate to the temple ideas, but it relates to the public, you talk about the there's two things right? There's the Nazir, and before that, there's the Sotah. And the Sotah, you see, the Kohen is just a guy, a person who he facilitates what goes on. That's all he does is facilitate. Then there's a guy who wants to be like a Kohen, and he's given an opportunity to do it. And then is going to be Birkat Kohanim. And then is going to be, they go back to dedication day on chapter 7, verse 1. Vahi biyom kalot Moshe lahakim et hamishkan, vayimshach oto, vaykidesh oto, vaytkol kalav mizbeh, vaytkol kalav, vayimshem vaykidesh otam, vaykribu. Whoop! Where are we now? We're right back where we are today in our conversation about him raising his hand. So the interjection over here that we have now, this, not interjection, this that takes us all the way back to where we are today, our discussion, right? Right before, what is it going to do? It's going to tell you about something that it didn't tell you over there. That the people come along and say, we want to participate in this, the Nisim. We want to be part of this thing. So I say, okay, you can bring the trucks. You can bring the 16-wheelers. You can bring your transportation vehicles, right? So you see the big 16-wheelers, all of them pull up one after the other. Big noise, big, sharp, shining ones, beautiful ones, right? Right? 6 of them, right? Teslas, yeah, electric ones, yeah. These are big 16-wheelers, and they're ready to go, and they're very proud of it, and then they do their offerings, which we'll talk about another time. So that it tells you about, you didn't know that happened over there. It did. It's telling you, it's taking you back to that spot, and it's telling you that's what happened over there, right? But there was an interjection of about 30,000 words in between, or something like that, whatever, from there. About, I don't know how many. It's less from there, 25,000, I don't know. So, I mean, the Torah is only 80,000 words, so it's a big space, right? Big jump. Exactly, yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, 79,986. Yeah.
No, it really.
Oh, yeah, it's missing 12 words. So now, listen carefully. At this juncture, I'm telling you what happened in the room. Because aren't we back at that day?
Yes.
Right before the scene of the want to bring the 16-wheelers, right?
Yes.
Right before that, this is what happened in the room that you don't know about. It's filling in the space. Hashem tells Moshe, Daber el Aharon, the El Benav, of course, El Benav means the entire priestly line. Tell him this is how you do it.
He's standing there. Aaron's standing there.
No. He's speaking to Moshe alone now.
He's in the oil with Aaron,
It
but
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Meeting in between.
There's,
they went together.
Listen to me. Just
The reason they go into the thing together is because
Fill in the
Moshe
blanks.
was just told.
fill in the blanks.
Hey, by the way,
I have something to tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
Moshe is standing on the sidelines over there. Moshe is standing there watching this whole procedure be done, correct?
Yeah, because of that, obviously.
He blesses, nothing happens. While he's coming down the steps,
Come with me, I gotta tell you something.
Hashem comes to him and tells him this as he's coming down the steps. Because Moshe goes, it didn't work. What are we going to do now? So God steps into the picture right while he's coming down the steps. And he says, Dabir el Aharon ve'el banav lemor.
Oh.
Ko tebarchu et bnei Yisrael. This is how you bless Israel. Amor lahim, tell them, Yibarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Adonai panav elecha v'necha, Yisah Adonai panav elecha yasem lecha shalom. I'm going to emphasize now. Tell them this. This is how you do it. Yibarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Not you. Yibarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yer Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. That wasn't what he said before. Yisah Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Tell them that's how you bless them. Tell them, and when he says kote barchu, you know what kote barchu is? This is how you do it. Tell your brother this is how you do it. So he says, they go inside. You know what he tells them? You know what God said? That's not how you make the beracha anymore.
But how did he make it? He opened it.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
I bless you, and I wish upon you all good things. And the priest, the high priest, doing the blessing.
Take him in like the vote.
The Pope.
You take him in like a.
Yeah. Over here, you're getting a gigantic. Listen to me.
Here it said.
I can't be. What? Nah. I can't be wrong. You're such a thick head.
No, he's just wondering what I don't really bless.
What he really blessed was not this.
My only question, that's not my question. But can I ask a question about?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My question is, Aaron, at this stage of the game, after the Egel and after all the crap that went through like that, do we still think
Yeah.
he has that guy bad?
It's not Gavin.
To say, I thought you was.
It's not Gavin. It's the way it was always done for 2,000 years. Nobody does anything. The priest gets up and he goes, go bless the people. I bless you, and I bless the thing, and so on and so forth. That's how he blesses the people.
Old way.
Like the Pope.
That's the way they do it. Today they do it that way. So there was nothing, he didn't do anything wrong. He tells him, we don't do it that way anymore. How do you know that? How do you know that? This is how you bless. Oh, when you did it over there, nothing happened. You know why? Because this is not the way we're blessing anymore. This is how you do it. And now, how do I know that?
Because of
From
Pasuk
Ali?
27.
Because
Pasuk 27 is spelling out the difference.
I'm about to say it.
Yeah.
V'samu et shemi al bnei Yisrael. Look at me. V'ani abarechem. They'll put my name on Israel, and I will bless them. You know what God is doing? Say, go tell your brother. This is how you bless. You say, God, Yirech Hashem, Yirech Hashem Panam. You say Hashem Panam, and then they'll put my name on Israel. V'samu et shemi al bnei Yisrael. V'ani abarechem, and I'll do the blessing. Tell him that, not him. Me,
That's not
before he did the blessing, shouldn't it?
because that's not the way it was done. It was being done for a long time, and Moshe innovates. This is an innovation. You're saying this is when it was innovated. Yeah, this is when it was innovated. Before that, they didn't do it that way.
5 minutes too late, though, shouldn't he have?
No,
done
it's not even part of the instructions. Moshe's not telling him to bless them. He just does it as a matter of routine. And he does it the way God
I'm always doing it.
God wanted to see
He
himself.
wasn't supposed to bless it. That was.
No, he
It
won't.
was call it protocol.
All sacrificial rights.
Has a protocol.
Yeah.
All sacrificial.
But we don't know that. Call it protocol. Call it protocol. Just forget yourself. No, don't jump in. Don't jump in. Just call it protocol. Protocol. Birkat Kohanim. So, yes. Go ahead. Because I want to give you the point.
Ronnie, can I ask you a question?
1 second, I'm being asked the question.
It's excess honor, right? And then you're coming over here and it's prefaced by
God.
the Nazir, which also sort of takes away from.
That anybody could do it. Any guy, any schlep walking down the block could do it.
Or anybody who wants to have that high level is not good.
That is correct. That is a valid statement. I brought that up to you to say to you later, but this is a good time to say it. Over there, the excess kabod. You get rid of the honor. You get rid of the ego. The part of the process is an elimination of the ego. And another part of the process that's elimination of the ego is you don't do it, I do it. Look at the words. This is how, go tell your brother, this is how you do it. And I will bless Israel. You know, it's like God had to stick up for himself. Like,
What about?
tell your brother, this is how you do it. God, he's talking about himself, God, right? He's talking about himself. And then he goes, and they'll put my name on Israel, and I will bless them. Not that procedure, new procedure. Got it? Good. Hold on to
Okay,
that
so-
for 1 minute.
So
Yeah.
can I ask you a question? When we did Eili, you used the word kaved a lot in
Yes,
Eili.
yes, correct. Of course, it's all related.
Are you going there?
Of course.
Okay.
Huh? No, not tonight, because it's already 8:15. I have no time. Next time we get together.
Okay, no problem.
There's a good question. It's a very good question. And of course, it's related in a heavy duty way. Heavy duty. But hold on to it. I want to just explain something to you now. And you are aware of this, you guys, because we've been through this one time before. But now I want to make application of what I showed you. When he says "Samu et shemi al bnei Yisrael, v'ani barachem," he means it literally, because all of Birkat Kohanim is placing God's name on Israel, literally. Do you remember?
Yeah,
You all remember?
Summer.
We did it last summer.
I remember the
The
whole thing.
26th letter, the
And they're all
26th letter
broken up.
forward,
Yep.
26th letter backwards, the middle word, the other word, the top, left, right. Everything has Yud-Kev in it. The whole structure of the amount of words, the center word, right? Every single thing, every element in there is God's name. You didn't learn it with us. Oh, so it's amazing, right?
We did it about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. So therefore, they're going to put my name literally, because that blessing literally places God's name on the nation. You understand?
Yes.
Literally, every letter, every single one of the letters. How many letters are there? Remember? It's 60 letters, right? Something like that, right? So it's really mind-boggling. When you know the literary structure of the blessing, you know, literally, they are placing God's name on the nation. Literally, not sketch, not they'll place my name, in other words, by saying something. When they'll say it, they are placing God's name on the nation. If you'll see it, you'll go out of their mind. You guys, you learned it? Oh, you didn't learn it
We
either.
did it
A
about
year.
3 years ago.
Nobody here learned.
Okay, so
We did it.
I'll do it with you next. I'll do it with you next time. But suffice it to say that an example of it is that if you go count you to the 20th letter, the 26th letter forward, it's a chaf. The 26th letter backward is a vav. Everything is 26. Everything in the structure is 26 in an amazing way. It's nothing. Is it amazing?
I need to see it again.
Oh my God! Everybody forgot. Oh, this is amazing.
It's anything you want.
Hey, we got an amazing background.
Say whatever you
Oh
want.
my God!
No, the first pasuk has.
It's one of the most exciting discoveries that I ever made.
Remember, then you go.
26 all long in between.
Just said.
Everything.
Yeah, I can-
Everything.
Begins with a star.
He just said that. I'm so depressed right now.
Oh, by the way, top 5 is.
Yeah, so
I know, but.
so I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. I'll hand. It's only when I hand out the sheets you'll be stupefied. Anybody who has seen those sheets, once you see them, there's no chance that it's a midrash. It's fact of life. God's name is being placed on the people literally. Literally. No, but I'll bring it next week. If we have class next week, I'll bring it and we'll go through it in detail and it's nothing less than stupefying. I'm telling you. And once you read it, you can't say, it's not like I had a cute way to, no, it's a done deal. It's one of those done deals. After you learn it, it's just you're revealing a thing. So you'll have to take my word for it, right? For now, that it's correct. And yeah, go ahead. You
Curious to
can.
know whether or not the practice of the Chazan needing to feed words to the Kohanim also has something to do with them not being allowed to say any word on their own. They have to be given it.
Isn't that nice?
Interesting.
That's so nice, right? I'll tell you, I call it, and you repeat after me.
So that they don't have license to do what they want. They
Right.
have to follow.
That's nice if that's true. That's very nice.
Ronnie, any relation to the Sotah and God's name being put?
That has its own application, sure, because you take God's name and you erase it into
Program
the,
here,
yeah.
right next to it.
So look. I'm just trying to think if I could show you one quick one.
Well, the Vav and the Chaf, the Yishmerecha. Starts with the Vav, ends with the Chaf. The Yichuneka, it starts with the Vav, ends with the Chaf.
Right,
Every
right.
time you have a.
Yeah, but they're at critical junctures. They're not just random. They're at critical junctures in the structure of the amount of letters backwards. It's a letter breakdown. It's not a word break. It's a literally every letter. They'll put my name on Israel and I'll bless them and I'll show it to you. That said,
Two purposes. One, anybody can become to that level.
that's
And
correct.
the second hand, if you aspire to be that for the wrong reasons, because you have to control yourself like that, it's not looked upon favorably.
Right, right.
There's both aspects of it.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Now, that's exactly on. Now, even though you don't know what I have written on Birkat Kohanim, take my word for it. We've learned for a lot of years together. Take my word for it. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Now, it would be much nicer if we learned it right now and came back here. But I want to say this. You see that statement is made right prior to taking you back to here, to this very spot that we're at, right here, right, not close. Vahib beyond Kalot Bashir Lahakim et Hamishkan. That is right at this spot. And what does it have to do with? Forget about if you believe me about it's an innovation, Birkat Kohanim. Isn't this where he blessed?
Yes.
Isn't where they both blessed?
Yes.
Well, right over there, right after that, it says on that day, and it takes you right back to this spot. So take my word for it, for that. You know why it's taking it right exactly at that juncture? Because that's the juncture where when Moshe was in the room, it takes you. It says, you know what I'm taking you back to now? Right there. But wait a minute. Oh, it's a cry. Go ahead. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך העולם ועושים פרעת העוני. היום 16 יום לעוני שהם שני שבועות ושני ימים.
We could all let it.
Okay.
We could all let
33% away.
I won't remember. If I don't have that, I don't remember. So,
At the end of the all after all the korbanot are brought, where Bo Moshe Elohed Moed Leberito, it's just happening like
all the same.
Moshe,
Same place, same time, same place, same station. And it takes you back to the blessing, literally. So what is the blessing? I'm telling you, when did that happen? When did he tell him that? Well, that's why it's right before the words that say, and it was, and on that day, because that's when he went in the room, because someone said, when did he get it? So I said, okay, when he was coming down the steps. This is when he gets it. He gets in the room. He says, listen, no more blessing the way you bless from now on. God said, this is how you bless from now on. And when they do it this way, it works, and everything is terrific.
Do you have a reason why it's structured that way? Why it's not mentioned here and it's mentioned later?
Well, that has to do with how all of everything that's going to go on from here is going to play into that answer of that question. It's, in other words, there's a whole, but a series of events and a series of laws that are going to take place that's going to culminate over there. Look, it's going to culminate with Sotah, it's going to culminate with Nazir, but before that is all of what goes on in Vayiqra from here on in, right? Related to the priests. It's that's the last of the innovations that you hear about the priests. To take you back to that day. These things all are filled in that are part of that innovation. So to answer do you understand what I just said? I answered your question. Everything that you're going to read now is in innovation. It's going to culminate with Bekat Kohanim, right? But all of this is part of that, right? Everything you're going to read about now, Kashrut, and Yoledet, and Sarat, and Zab and Zabah, right? And then Aharem Moshe ben Haron, and then Kippur. All of it is going to be,
And then all the laws of the Kohanim.
all the laws of the Kohanim, and blemishes, and this and that, and so on and so on.
They can't be involved.
All of it is going to be part of what takes place from that juncture exactly all the way to the end. But just to come back to Nadav and Avihu, to our original question, it's like right. Now, the other ones always kept saying kasher tzivah, kasher tzivah. Aaron, remember, Aaron is getting an innovation, but he's not doing the wrong thing. He's doing what he was commanded. He's following the law. They're not doing that. Asher lo tzivah. They do what God did not command.
That we read 14 times, but Moshe told us what's going to do, and then he did its work. Yeah.
Exactly, as per the commandment. As per the commandment. So, the question then comes into play. That's where we started earlier in the night. So why doesn't it say what they did?
What do you mean? It does.
Specific.
No, why doesn't it say it outright?
Why the
That why do you have for the last 2,000 years?
Yeah.
No, we opened up by saying they go like this. There's songs about Aharon and Nadav and Avihu and this, and they made a mistake.
I know.
Right. So I'm asking you, why didn't it just say one or two words that takes you out of that whole problem? All you need is one word, two words, one, two, three words. Boom, done. All this is it went out of its way not to make the statement here. So why? That's the question.
So how do you relate this to Shemot when they're also with the elders, right?
Right.
And it's the same question, doesn't say what they did wrong, just says Hashem did not.
He didn't kill them.
strike them down.
He didn't strike them down because he was either merciful or because Moshe is on the scene or something like that.
Say exactly what they
Right.
did.
Well, it says
Overstepped their bounds.
they overstepped their bounds. It does say that.
Well, over here,
They went close.
is it the same?
It was much worse.
Is it the
They
same
did
story?
what they brought
died.
Esh Zara. It does over there. It doesn't say it's idolatry.
Is it the same story or not?
Wait, what's
No, it's not the same story. No, it's not the same story as chapter 24.
Because it's also the elders, over here's elders.
Huh?
No, but
So only time.
They're being held to a higher standard though than those elders.
No,
It did something worse.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't call it Avodah Zarah what they did.
I didn't do.
It said they stepped out of bounds, right? They treated it, the eating and drinking. If you remember what I said in chapter 24, he doesn't eat and drink for 40 days and 40 nights. They're eating and drinking, they're making a party. Their attitude, so the whole thing is like, but I don't think it's the same story. I think it's an earlier stage of development. It's telescoping everything, right? Remember, 24 is telescoping. Everything after the 10 Commandments is telescoping. It's taking a long period of time, centuries, and it's giving you a little tiny thing. This is maybe even a later stage of what you'll call the not the downfall, the corruption that sets in on the priestly group, right? You remember the guys with Yoash, they're checking line, they have to send the accountant, remember?
Yeah.
Right, that's 200 years before the destruction, right? By the destruction, you got guys like Pashur, you have mafia running, you have the mafia running the temple. Literally the mafia, really, literally.
Organized,
Crime, yeah, animals, lowlifes,
planned, organized.
dogs, the lowest life human beings, right? Not, they're thugs running it by the time you get to Jerusalem. Thugs are running, not nice guys who don't have it right. Thugs, the Sopranos are running the temple, right? Literally, the guy that's running the temple he's a thug.
At least he's a Kohen.
Right? Now, you have that happen in Shiloh. Shiloh is also being run by thugs, right? Right? The Hofni and Pinhas, thugs. The difference between the Jerusalem story and Hofni and Pinhas is that Eli is not like that. Eli himself is Yeshemuel, the greatest prophet after Moshe Rabbeinu is Shemuel, right? Who's his mentor? Eli. He know he when he gets the prophecy and he says, "What are you? What are you calling me?" The first prophecy, remember, when he's sleeping in the room, and he says, "You called me." He says, "No, go back to sleep." He says, "You called me." He says, "Oh, go say I'm listening, God." Right? He knows he's getting prophecy, so he says, "What did you have?" He wouldn't tell him. The prophecy was, you're all gonna die. The kids, the most horrible things. But he loves Shemuel. Shemuel loves Eli. He doesn't look at Eli as God forbid. It's his mentor. His mentor. He doesn't want to tell him. He's gonna break his heart. Right? Now, that's a gigantic difference from the guys who are running the temple at the end, right? Yirmiyah tells them this place is going to be destroyed like Shiloh. Well, Shiloh is destroyed because of like Hofni and Pinhas, right? That's the end of Shiloh. That's the end of the story. And that's what A.B. Bitesh was asking. When Eli dies, it says he fell back on the chair because he was kabed. And then his daughter-in-law, in the last words of the story, calls the child Ikabod. Right?
You have Vayidon in the Ellie story in Shemuel.
Yeah. You have it. Yes. Everything. We'll do it. You do it. Yeah. He hears it and it doesn't say. He says whatever God says is it's the equivalent of Vayidon.
It's not the word.
No, but he whatever God says is what it is. What it is. He's faith. He's
quiet.
Like ahead on.
So the Akadim referring to them is a reset to try and get things back on track. You have Nadav and Avihu, they die, it's like that, and we go.
It's part of the answer to Ike. It's the new innovations that come into play for Kapara for the nation, because
Why reference that?
Huh?
Why reference Acharei Mot Shnei Bnei Aaron as that point for the kapara?
Because that's when everything fell apart. He comes and he says, this temple is going to be destroyed like everything else. You're all corrupt. The political leaders are corrupt.
Okay.
The priests are corrupt. The prophets are corrupt. The whole system is he is the God's vehicle for destruction of the whole system. The whole system has got to be. He tells them destroy it. He doesn't physically destroy it.
Level, back in Vayiqra, and not portraying the future Korban, you have Nadav and Avihu go off the rails. Okay, and is Acharei, why reference them as the point for atonement?
Because that's reflective of where things were at.
but not in that story, the story's 5 minutes. It's not, I'm not talking the generational story of the Beit HaMikdash and the Chorban. I'm coming back to Vayiqra.
Everything, when you say you can't ask me about his 5 minutes, everything's always 5 minutes. The whole story, everything already addressed 5 minutes, it's.
But but Aaron getting the instructions for Kippur. Okay,
Is the change that takes place as a result of what's said in the priesthood. That's the kicker. That's the downfall.
generations later.
Yeah, the way you talk about the destruction of Jerusalem, you go, there's the temple that was destroyed, there was the city that was destroyed, right? In Tehillim, there's the 73rd, 4th Mizmor and the 79th. They're separated. The day that the city falls is one thing, the day that the temple gets destroyed is another thing. The Shiloh at 79, the Shiloh, when he says this place is going to be like Shiloh, destroyed to the ground, there's not going to be anything left. They go crazy when he says that. This place has been 400 years, it's been standing.
Shiloh, you have Shemuel. You don't have anything like that parallel.
Where?
Right at Shiloh falls, you have Shemuel.
Yeah,
So-
he's there when it happens, not, you know.
It's positive. He's a positive guy going forward. Positive. There's not despair and Korban and Galut with Shemuel,
Right.
as opposed to the. If you,
There is. What do you mean? They take that on. That on is going to be taken.
yeah,
That on is going to be taken. Everything is.
but it doesn't destroy the nation. You have kings. You have David. You built
It's the beginning of the end.
Isn't it called a Korban?
One second. You're only saying they're not duplicate stories? Is that what you're trying to say? But they're parallel, they're not duplicate. They're not duplicate, never said it's duplicate. What's duplicate about the stories is that Eli's sons die on the same day. Aaron's sons die on the same. He's the high priest, they're the high priest. Right? The comparisons between the two stories are overwhelming. She calls the kid Ikabod. He says, I'll call Pina'an Ikabed. Right? I wanted to get to that today. Let me just read that piece to you for 1 minute. Let me, because you guys really need the whole summer to learn. Right.
For me, I'm good. I gotta get in the house anyway.
What?
Reflective of the.
Right, it's reflective of the deterioration, of course. Listen, listen what it says. After they die, V'yomer Asher Haron. Everybody has great difficulty with this. Is he consoling him? Is he not consoling him? Is he telling him off? I say, read the words, and it's very clear what he's doing. V'yomer Asher Haron. Hu Asher Diber Adonai. That is what God spoke. Lemor Bikrobai Ikadesh Va'al Kol Pene'an Ikabed. I'll be honored in front of all of the people. And go back to the pasuk that he's quoting from, and look at pasuk 6. Vayomer Moshe Zeh Hadavar Asher Siva Adonai Ta'asu Ve'ira Alechem Kebod Adonai. When the disaster hits, he tells him, Hu Asher Diber Adonai. Lemor. Bikrovai Ekadesh Al Kol Pene'am Ekabed. He paraphrases what he told him over there. What's going to be? He tells him that's what God said. You're gonna do the thing, and it's going to be a great kiddush Hashem, right? Bikrobai, the guys who bring the korban, Bikra, right? The priest, and I'll call Pineam, and before Kabed, I will be honored. V'yiralachem kabod Hashem, right?
Yeah.
He tells him, look. In other words, he looks at him and he goes, "That's
I told you so.
no, not I told you." Said,
You guys keep going.
"This is what God." No, this is what God. That's what God said, and He leaves it unspoken. And they made the biggest Hilul Hashem. They brought Esh Sarah. They did the opposite of bringing Kibor Hashem. He doesn't say it to him. It's Vaidom. You know what Vaidom means? It's quiet. He goes, and you're supposed to fit it like this. And they, not only they blew it, they made a Hilul Hashem, the opposite.
Yes.
Right?
It's obvious.
So this is what happens. This is what happens. He didn't say it. He says it with great sensitivity. He goes, Aaron, this is what we said, right? When we started out this whole procedure. Oh, you gotta go. We're finished anyway. And by the way, Alpanem Ikabed in the Shemuel story, she calls the child Ikabod.
Oh,
It's
that's
taking
what
the story. Yeah.
The name of the.
All right, I'm going to stop it now, AB, because they have to go anyway. So,
Okay, thank you.
okay, you got it. You got it.
Yeah. Yeah, lift.